Seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be given to you. One of the things I often struggle with is insecurity. And that's because instead of just accepting God's love for me and being content with that, I strive to live up to the standards of the world. I try to seek love in the world, thinking that uh, that what the world has to offer me is much better than God's love. Even though I don't audibly say this, in reality, I think this is something that I often struggle with. And I think here's the challenge. I think that this is a trap. We often mistake the praise that the world gives us for love. But praise and love are not the same thing. Particularly, praise and love of God are not the same thing. The love that God offers us is free. It's not something that we have to earn. It's not something that we have to work towards. We simply have to accept it. It's ours for the taking. However, praise is something that we have to earn. And it's not something that is given freely. We have to achieve a particular standard that is set before us, and then we receive that praise. But once we no longer live up to that standard, then that praise is taken away from us. Or worse, we can be tossed aside by the world and even devalued or canceled, as some people will say today. So praise and love are not the same thing. I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article about Gwen Stefani, the pop star. And lately, if you know anything about Gwen Stefani, she's been more vocal about her Catholic faith. And because of that, there have been people that have been trying to tear her down for simply identifying as Catholic and speaking about her faith openly. So they're trying to remove that praise or that love that they once offered for her for being such an amazing pop star. Now her humanity has been devalued simply because she expressed her faith in God. So how can we fight this temptation? Because ultimately, I think this is temptation from a devil where he tries to trap us and take us away from God. He tries to give us a false type of love, something that is something that is more like an illusion as opposed to real love, because he can't reproduce the love that God actually offers us. So he tries to tempt us, he tries to deceive us to take us away from God. Here's one thing that we shouldn't do and one thing that we should do. One thing is that instead of seeking, we shouldn't seek wealth. We shouldn't seek power. We shouldn't seek influence over people. When we seek these things in and of themselves, we are turning these things into idols for ourselves. We begin to worship these. And remember what Paul says, he doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. He says the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's because all these things can be seen as gifts and blessings from God. However, if we start simply uh, valuing them just in and of themselves, they become our idols. Remember, if God blesses us with power and influence, well, then that's a gift. And when we receive a gift from God, we have now a responsibility to use these gifts for His glory, to build up His kingdom, not for glorifying ourselves. So don't seek these things in and of themselves. First and foremost, seek God and build a relationship with Him. And then, if He so chooses, He may bless you with these things because He believes that you will be able to use these things to glorify Him and to build His kingdom and bring about good in the world. And lastly, what should we do? We should be humble. In this Sunday's Gospel, Matthew 5, Jesus presents the Beatitudes. And all the Beatitudes can be summed up in one simple way: humility. Be humble, and and then God will be able to use us to do good in the world. I'll wrap up with a verse from the first reading from this Sunday's Gospel. I love what the prophet Zephaniah says. The prophet Zephaniah says, Seek the Lord, all you humble of the land. Remember, seek the Lord first and not the standards of the world and not what the world offers.